What's up, wrestling fans? It's Joe Cronin. This is the Joe Cronin Show, and I got to get something in here real quick. Obviously, all the heat on NIA JAX. We're hearing from some sources that, as you know who the sources are if you've been watching Twitter. Almost everybody at this point really has been weighing in on this, and it seems that, boom, it seems that NIA JAX has more heat on her as far as the SmackDown brand goes. The people on SmackDown are more upset with her than anything else, and that seems to be what the situation is right now. So people on SmackDown are pretty upset with NIA JAX. Also, there's been a video that's been surfacing all over Twitter about Lana from the other night not punching. Like, she was like a horrible-looking punch that Lana threw. It just looks terrible. Now, I myself criticize both of these things. And I know there's some YouTubers out there and some wrestling reviewers who suck up to the wrestlers, like, and I will say, I don't want anybody to be fired. I don't think anybody should be fired, but I do blame WWE for this. You have NIA JAX on one hand, throwing a Mike Tyson punch, as I called it the other night on the SmackDown review, or on the Raw review, whichever one it was. No, a SmackDown review. She throws a Mike Tyson punch, a ridiculously careless thing. It really looks intentional. So, like, anybody out there who's saying that fans are crazy for calling it intentional, they're insane for calling it intentional. No, they're not. It looks intentional. It looks ridiculous. It looks hard to believe that she would throw a punch like that in wrestling, in pro wrestling. It is dumb and Neanderthal-like to throw a punch like that in professional wrestling. I mean, I have at least wrestled a couple of years in pro wrestling, not to mention all the other years of things that I've done and refereeing and whatever. That was it looked like a punch or a shoot or a receipt for some reason, and whatever. Anyway, so Lana's punch or lack of a punch looks horrific and terrible. And do you have any pride in your work, WWE? Do you have any pride in your competitors? Do your competitors have any pride? If I'm Lana, I am embarrassed about what happened. Now, Lana responded on Twitter saying that she thought that, she was bloodied. Lana defending herself on Twitter saying, I saw the blood on Dana's face, so I stopped from hitting her. Also was being told to get a doctor and a ref because of what had just happened to Becky. Oh, yeah, because what happened to Becky is the same thing as had happening to Lana, at Dana's face, I guess. I don't even get that. We're out there fighting to win, but not to legitimately hurt each other. Well, that's a statement that I could have done without. As far as I'm concerned, Lana should have never even responded to this. I give her credit in a way for trying to defend herself, because I get it. But she really should have just not defended herself. She could have just left this alone. I probably would have left it alone. Maybe I wouldn't have, actually, with my big mouth. So Lana tries to defend that. It's stupid. But now NIA JAX has responded, showing a picture of her fist being cut and bruised. And NIA JAX tweeted out, "Hey, we don't deliver mail. Things happen. Is anyone going to ask me about how my fist feels?" No, nobody's going to ask you about how your fist feels. I want to ask NIA JAX how her brain feels, because I want to know how it feels to be an idiot out there. And, again, I don't call for anybody to be fired or, whatever the hell the case is. But, I do call for some kind of, I would hope that this was acknowledged somehow in the back. And, a lot of people are saying they left her out to dry. SmackDown kept playing the video over and over again and in slow motion, and that was... They clearly threw NIA JAX to the wolves by doing that. But there's a part of me who thinks that helps NIA JAX. So there's a part of me who thinks they did that on purpose to help her. Like, hey, might as well use this to get NIA heel heat. So there's a part of me that's cautious about that. Some people saying, oh, no, this is crazy. They absolutely threw her under the bus. That was awesome when they did that. Well, I'm not 100% sure that that's exactly what they did and that they're not just using it for heel heat for NIA. So... if you're actually angry at NIA JAX for this, WWE says, good, we're going to use it. Which I guess I don't blame them for, because I would supposedly try to do that too. But I think there's a lot of fans out there who legitimately hate NIA right now. And there's just nothing you can do about it. And I don't blame people for being hateful or angry or frustrated. And anybody who says on their reviews, like, oh, shut up, you idiot fans, go back to stocking shelves or whatever you do. I'm sorry. I think that person. I think if you say that you're kind of you're an asshat. I really believe that you are an idiot if you say that. And these are the fans that listen to you, by the way. I've heard so many different wrestling reviewers make somewhat similar statements to that about the fans, like trying to white knight for these people. But there's nothing you can do to defend this. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And I know botches happen, but botches happen like in a botching way. You took your fist and punched somebody. So number one, you don't punch like that. Number two, you punch someone's face off. Like there's no botch here to me. That's how she chose to punch. That's not a botch. Going to super kick someone and accidentally catching their nose or chin, or that's a botch, a mistake. That's the problem with this. Even Brie Bella. Well, everyone was calling for her to get fired, and she's a botch. She's careless. She's going to get somebody hurt. I agree with that. Brie Bella is going to get someone hurt. She's not very good. She's careless, whatever. But what NIA JAX did was worse, because Brie Bella, most of her stuff was a botch or a mistake. What NIA JAX did the other night, it just doesn't look like a mistake. You have complete control of your punching motion, and I don't believe that that's what NIA did. I mean, first of all, she could have open-handed her. She threw a fist and she knocked her head off. To me, it's not an accident. So it's not crazy to me that some fans believe she did it on purpose. I don't really think that she did it on purpose, but if she didn't do it I almost wish she did do it on purpose, because if she did not do that on purpose, then to me, she's kind of an idiot. And I hate to say that, because there's a part of me that likes NIA JAX a lot too, especially like the person that she is, I think. And, I've spoken to her on Twitter before. I've had nice Twitter exchanges with NIA JAX before. And I've enjoyed those conversations or whatever we've had. And I think that she could get better. I just don't know what she was doing. This is the most... it's one of the other than like Brock Lesnar busting open Randy, this is one of the most egregious punches I've ever seen on the main roster. Now I will agree that if somebody out there pulls up botchamania punches and can find punches that didn't land the right way, you know what I mean? And they showed me a lot of them from back in the day, and maybe I would retract my statement here, but in my mind at this point, I can never remember somebody doing this. The last time I was this angry, and guys, I got to tell you, this is a massive thing I'm about to say. I'm about to make a huge statement right now. I haven't been this upset with somebody doing something like this since Owen Hart, for some reason, did a tombstone pile driver on Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1998 or whatever it was. First of all, I love Owen Hart, and I loved Owen Hart. I was a big Owen Hart. I've always loved Owen Hart. Just always liked him. Even when he was a bad guy and you kind of hated him, you kind of liked him too. And I obviously just respect the hell out of Owen Hart, and I love him. But to me, my knowledge, at that time, I had never seen Owen Hart use that move before. And it wasn't a normal tombstone. It wasn't The Undertaker's tombstone. It was a sit-down reverse tombstone pile driver. It wasn't your regular pick them up and then fall backwards with their head tucked and pile drive them. It was facing the other way. That move to me is a ridiculous move that will just get somebody hurt every time. First of all, I don't think I'd ever seen that move at that time. I had not seen that move in WWE. I had never seen that move performed at a SummerSlam, I didn't believe. I'd never seen that move performed at a Royal Rumble. I had never seen that move performed at a WrestleMania. I have seen that move performed by The Undertaker when you reverse the guy and you drop your knees down, and it's more kind of safer, to be honest. But I'd never seen someone sit down with a reverse tombstone and spike someone's head. You would think the result every time would almost be spiking of the head, unless they fell back on their back and pelvic area the right way, which would look ridiculous. So that move to me never made any sense. And at the time, it really angered me. I said to myself, man, Owen Hart has never used this before. What the hell is he doing? But even that almost paralyzed Stone Cold was more explainable to me. than what Nia Jax did with this right hand the other day. It was just a reckless, real punch that happened. You can see how you could screw up that tombstone. But, maybe I'm crazy. You guys tell me. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, multiple reports, Sean Ross broke a bunch of this stuff, and a bunch of other guys broke a bunch of this stuff the other day. They called it. They nailed it. So if you add up all the similarities between all the sources and all the people that were involved in these things, we come to the similar conclusion that right now we are 90% sure that the SmackDown group are very upset at Nia Jax. Like, they are angry. The locker room in SmackDown is furious with Nia Jax. People are angry at her in the back. Officials are angry with her. And as far as we know, the Raw side of things, they're kind of just, I don't know. How does Vince McMahon feel? I don't know how these people feel. But I know that there is some kind of backlash on Nia Jax as far as SmackDown. And we're hearing that from the sources, that from the leaks, that from officials, and that from people we know who are in contact with everybody, who also broke the news about Becky Lynch not being able to wrestle at Survivor Series, and also breaking the news that Charlotte would be her replacement, although Charlotte being her replacement was, I believe, pretty much a shoo-in. I have a whole hell of a lot more to talk about, but I'm on my way to a doctor's appointment, so I'm going there right now. If you guys like what I do on this channel, it is imperative that you go support me on Patreon. And also, you get 30 hours of bonus content a month if you go up to the $5 a month tier. So check that out. Me and my wife, Leah, did a podcast the other day that's been getting more reviews than even Corrupted did last week. It's available right now for you on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Hit the like button down below, guys. We really got to build these likes. I really want to see some likes, man. I want to get motivated today. If I see 300 likes, can we get 300 likes? I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask for. But if we see 300 likes, I am going to do a full State of the WWE by 4 p.m. today, before Out of Nowhere, if this video reaches 300 likes. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and I will get to more stuff later about this. And make sure you follow me on Twitter, @CorruptedPod. That's @CorruptedPod, named after my other show, Corrupted Podcast. Here's some other videos you might have missed, and on the top right, a link to the Patreon and some other videos you can click on. Binge watch my stuff, share it everywhere, let other wrestling fans know about it, put it up on Reddit, put it up everywhere. I don't know, do whatever you gotta do. Thanks for listening. I'm Joe Cronin, and we'll see you tonight for Out of Nowhere live here on this channel at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. For you guys outside the U.S., Danny Deadly on Skype, DANNYDEADLY, 339-226-6610. All the information in the description box down below, and I will see you later with more wrestling news.